about the game now.
Oh, gosh.
Give us a couple opening thoughts, and then we'll open up for questions.
You know, I haven't seen the stat sheet. I really don't care. I just think I thought we fought. We knew we were going to have to fight. We knew we were going to have to. It was going to be a battle. I just felt like if we could stay close, you know, then we'd have a real chance to win the game. And I felt like the start of the second half was a real key because, you know, the last couple of times we played them, they've jumped down on us to start the second half. So, but we just hung in there. You know, we got stops when we needed it, and I'm just so proud of all of our team. I mean, I know they're called the Big Three here, but we're the Big 13. We feel like it was a team effort.
Coach, can you talk about, you know, what you talked to your players about in halftime? I mean, they were up, I think, 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And like you said before, they've always jumped out and said, what did you say to your players? Kind of just say, you know what, let's regroup, let's come back, because Dean, you all came back very aggressive in the second half.
Well, you know, I thought in the first half we got really good shots. We just didn't put them in. And, you know, at halftime, of course, I wasn't pleasant.
Kumbaya, right?
Kumbaya. But, you know, we just felt like we tried zone and man, and I just really felt like that we just needed to play man. You know, at that point, that we just really need to stay in our man. And I'm very big on matchups, and I wanted certain people guarding, you know, certain ones of their players. And so I felt like that, you know, I just felt like in the second half we just needed to stay aggressive, and I thought we attacked the basket better in the second half, and we finished. I thought in the second half we finished shots that we did not finish in the first half.
For this one's for players, starting with Victoria. Just how does this feel? I mean, obviously, you all dealt with them 3 times last year, and then you all get that third opportunity this year, and you were able to get them and go to the NCAA tournament. So just starting with Victoria players, how does it feel?
It's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, from losing in the championship game, we know we had to come out with a win. You know, I mean, nobody believed in us but ourselves, because they beat us like with the past 5 games. I think nobody believed in us. We just kept believing in ourselves, and we fought through adversity after being down 13 or 15. I think it was the biggest lead. We just kept fighting and believing.
Well, yeah, I agree. I just think that we came together when we needed to come together. There's been times where we had to face adversity and we struggled coming back together, but if this wasn't the time for us to stay together and just fight, it was a great time for it to happen.
I remember telling Victoria after the second time we lost them, I was like, maybe this is a sign. We losing to them, we saving our best for last. 30 times a charm, and we stuck together today and we got the wins.
Coach, you mentioned, you said you just need to keep it close. Well, you got down 15 in the second half, and so many other teams have just crumbled, FGCU. Well, what did you say to keep them together and to get them to make that push?
Well, I think, you know, we do know what it feels like last year. We had to sit here and we were the second place team. And we didn't want to feel like that anymore, you know. And, you know, I felt like, too, it didn't feel like we were giving them easy baths. I mean, they were having to work for things. And, you know, so much of it comes down to points in the paint. I've always said that for us, we win games when we win points in the paint. And we were not giving them those layups, you know. And I felt like we were getting out on shooters, and their field goal percentage started to go down. You know, we played through their runs. And, you know, so I just felt like that we stuck together. You know, before we would fold or we'd just keep letting them score because we would be frustrated because we weren't scoring. We didn't get frustrated today. You know, I felt like that they became frustrated because, you know, those shots, we were there and they weren't going in, and they didn't out-rebound us either. So I thought, you know, we won the key battles. And, you know, we just know what it feels like. When you have veterans and they're all back, they know what it feels like to lose in a championship game. And we didn't want to feel like that again. And really, this is the one that counts. I mean, I know they all count, but this is the one that we all work for, that we all, when you grow up playing, you play for. You know, this is the game you play for, that you work.
Coach, can you talk about Sasha's performance? Not only the leading scorer, but 5 block shots.
Yeah, but, I mean, it just it makes such a difference in, you know, those block shots. I mean, they're just momentum shifts. And, you know, I told her, I said, just stay and help as much as you can, you know, because we knew they were going to isolate and try to drive. You know, he runs a lot of flex, but he runs a lot of isolation where they try to drive. But we knew we had to have team defense, and we did. But we tried to keep her around the basket as much as we could, and she did a great job. And, you know, they want you to take your eyes off the ball, and you've got to always play the ball against them. And I thought we were very disciplined this time, and we didn't do that. We played the ball.
Coach, is this extra special because of the success that they've had against you in the past couple seasons?
No, it's extra special because it's special. We're going to the NCAA tournament. I wouldn't care who it would be against. You know, they're just another team in our conference, and they were just in our way to get where we wanted to go.
Coach, can you talk about the senior class, what they've meant to the program? I remember reading about just how much they mean to you, how much you love them. And,
Yeah.
you know, they make it happen. So just, can you talk about just how much they mean to you?
I don't know if I can do that.
Let me take it.
They mean everything to me.
Can you give us some memories about that?
Well, I think what you guys miss is what I get to do is I get a front row seat to watch them all the time, and I don't pay for it. I get to sit there and watch some great basketball, but they're just fun. I mean, they're fun off the court. I mean, I know I'm unpleasant most of the time, but they're unpleasant sometimes too. But overall, they're just fun. I mean, we have a lot of fun together off the court, and that's what I'm gonna miss. You know, I think this is what makes it special is that we win a game like this, but it's all the stuff off the court. It's the rides in the bus. It's the practice. They're just goofy. I mean, they're the goofiest group I've ever. I mean, they're just fun.
Well, who's the goofy?
Yeah, well, that's a tough one. But you know, they're just special, and I think they just decided they wanted to be the best, and they wanted to win this thing. And I wanted it so bad for them. I think sometimes as a coach, you just wish you could play. You know, you wish you could go out and play. And I wanted it so bad for them. But I knew they had to go do it. You know, it was up to them. But what they've done is they put Stetson basketball on the map. They have shown that they are a great team. You know, we didn't have a lot of players on the first team, and you know, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. I don't care. But they just wanted a championship. They didn't care. They just wanted to come here and win a championship. And you know, we don't care who the MVP is and all that stuff is. We just know we won a championship, and it's about a group effort. But they have meant everything to me. They're a very special class, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I'll ever experience it again as a coach. You hope to, but it's just that special. I mean, when you have a player that made a miracle shot, I'll never forget that. I mean, that you don't forget that, and to be part of that, and what they've done, and they're just so unselfish. You know, these three players here, they could at any point decided they just wanted to, you know, they wanted all the accolades. They never did that. They always wanted to share the ball, and it's rare, and I'm not sure that I'll ever get to experience a class this special again. I hope I do, but it's going to be really tough to beat.
Victoria, you got a question for you. What do you people, or I guess people that know about your abilities back home in Michigan know about what you've done for Stetson? Obviously, the local populace does, but you know, has your legend had some kind of resonance back home?
Yeah, of course. You know, in my high school and my teachers, everybody was proud of me. You know, especially my family, my mom. I think I don't know if they expected it, but I know I just believed in myself, and my family believed in me, and everybody's just proud.
Sasha, can you talk about just that will? It just seemed like in the second half especially, you just became assertive on every facet of the floor.
Yeah.
Whether it was offense or rebounds or block shots. Can you talk about just your mindset in the second half? Because you seemed like you wanted it so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think this morning I made up my mind. I woke up, I texted both of them, and I told them that we was going to win the championship because they deserved it, not because of anything else. I felt like I came out, and I was just like, I got 40 minutes left in me, and that's what I'm going to give. No overtimes, none of that. We're going to win the game, period. So I think after I got in foul trouble, I just stayed positive. I was cheering them on the bench, communicating. You can't become selfish and just realize what you got going on. I just kept it as a team, and eventually the game came around to me. Coach Bree always says the ball will find you, and that's what it did. So.
Can you talk about that last play that broke the tie? Do you remember the play and hitting that shot?
I think I shot like a, I don't know, whoopie-doo.
Get your
Yeah.
trademark.
That's right. That patent. That's
Yeah,
right.
like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was a momentum changer, definitely. I know I heard the crowd and the bench went crazy, but I was just more putting the ball in the basket. I was trying to find an open man, couldn't find him, so I said I have no choice but to make it. Not just shoot it, but I had to make it.
I gotta ask you. They talked about this power of positive thinking. You really spoke your effort into existence in the second half. I was underneath the basket, and you basically told the ball player what you were about to do repeatedly. I don't know if people heard that.
She did that?
Yes, she did. She told her, she blocked her consecutive times. She told her that she was going to block her.
Yeah,
Give
give
me
me
that.
that.
Give me that one also.
Yeah.
And you mentioned
The legend of Solomon Sims.
I want to ask you, you spoke about just having a positive mentality. Was the voicing it almost a sense of, okay, I'm not only believe it, but I want to make that,
Yeah, I
speaking
mean,
into existence?
yeah. I mean, that's not only just like how I am, but it's more of, I guess you could say, more of a religious thing or spiritual thing. You just got to keep speaking whatever you're trying to make happen. I mean, it goes for all of us on the team. We always say the first thing you got to do is encourage yourself before anybody else is. So I feel like as long as I'm amping myself up, and then of course I got these two behind me, I got the bench. They like, yeah. I think all that really helps, like as far as energy and just trying to stay positive, especially when things aren't going your way, especially when we're down the way
Ladies,
we were.
when y'all hear that, what was his response? I'm sure it's a serious moment, but when you hear that kind of conversation, I'm sure y'all kind of just push back a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of pumps us up a little bit, you know, because I'm amping her up, like she said, I'm amping like, yeah.
I know
Like,
she
let's
ready
go.
when she talking to herself.
Coach, tactically, I apologize. I wanted to ask you, when Victoria was not in the lineup late in the game, they chose not to pressure your ball handler. Did you recognize that, or was it just kind of in the heat of the moment, you just?
Well, she had 4 fouls, so I had to take her out. I was afraid they would isolate her and try to go at her, so I took her out. But they didn't. They pressure, but they don't really press and pick up. They don't really do that.
So
It's
not
not-
traps, anything?
No, they don't really do that. One thing, once you get ahead of them, they really don't. If you can, like I said, they don't really press and get you to try to turn it over that way. But they do pressure very well. I did think they tried to get, kind of with Jama, they really kind of got up into her a little bit, but we had some relief with the other ones that got the ball and just brought it down. So, one thing about us, we do have 5 ball handlers. We really don't have a true post. You can throw it to any one of them and they can bring it up. And we run an offense that it really doesn't matter who starts the offense. So, but I do, I think they do pressure well, but they don't really trap a whole lot and do that unless they're, unless it's at the end of the game when they're way down, but that's rare.
Did you find a bit of a relief to know that was not a concern?
Well, that helps. Yes, it does help that they don't do that. I mean, but now you've got to fight for everything else. So, you've got to play a 40-minute game against them. I mean, they're very good, and you've got to guard for 40 minutes. And, but no, it didn't surprise me that they didn't really get up and trap and stuff.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Coach, thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Nobody heard that, man.